Okay, Zachary here, back with Backyard DIY. Today we've got to do an oil change on the truck. It's going to be the larger of the two black caps. Here's the oil filter, and then this is the fuel filter. So if you have a large enough socket or wrench, you certainly can use that to remove the cap. I find it's easier for me to just use a strap wrench, so we're just going to use a strap wrench. I always take the oil filter off first before I go underneath. That way I know for sure underneath it's going to drain as much as possible. There we go. Now it's moving. Oops. There goes the camera. Alright, so and this has the fuel filter and the oil filter both have a spring on the bottom of them. The old 7.3 that I used to have on the fuel filter, there was a lever you had to flip to dump the fuel. Both the oil filter and fuel filter on the bottom of them, once you release pressure on the spring, I'll show you later, it drains it back into the block. So there's no release valves or anything like that. So as soon as you crack it loose, it'll dump all of the oil, so you don't have to worry about making a big mess. Same as the fuel. 1540 is so thick, this truck ran today, so I usually leave my oil somewhere near a warm area. Obviously not a smoking hot area, but just to warm it up so it'll run a little better, or it'll pour a little better into the engine. And then also this time, we've never done it on this truck, but we've heard from a lot of people to try Rev-X, and it's coming from independent people that we find on Facebook groups and stuff. Are a really good place for knowledge. Powerstroke Facebook groups and stuff like that. But here's the product, Rev-X, and it's supposed to be for injector health and just overall engine health. So it warms up. So now for your oil, spoiler alert, if you know what you're talking about, this is going to sound dumb. Your first pan with a plug on it is going to be your oil filter on this truck. The second one is transmission, and I still got to do that yet, but I haven't gotten to that yet. So it's a 3/4 inch socket to take the plug out. Let's sit this camera down here for a second. And then whatever you use to catch it, the oil, just make sure you take into account that this holds 15 quarts. So you're going to need lots of room. And if you do this on a cold engine, it's going to leak for a long time. So I just got done driving this, so it shouldn't take too long. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here till it's all done, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned with us. Okay, while the oil is still leaking out of the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and change the oil filter. The plug's still out on the bottom, but We're going to do this right now. So, where's my rag? Dang it. Okay, so there's the filter. That's the spring I was telling you about. Once that's depressed, then it holds the oil up here. But within the up position like that, it drains it back into the block. And there, this new one, my fingers are pretty oily, so what I do is I either grab some oil off the filter, or if my fingers are already oily, you want to get this really lubricated so it slides in easier, and you don't worry about pinching it. And then there's a really defined groove. You can see right where it's going to go back. So you want to roll it down until it's all the way in the groove all the way around. So there it goes. And then just rub it a little bit more, get it nice and oily. And then the old one you just pulls out. Try not to fling oil everywhere, but might have to fling oil everywhere trying to get this thing out. There we go. So what was easiest for me was just to bend it down that motion, and then it popped out. So this is the bottom of the old one, or the top I guess you would say, and that's the bottom. That, I believe it was Wix, the name brand Wix, but we're going to try Motorcraft. The original equipment filter, everyone says it's better, so I don't know, I'm going to try it. The new one, these tabs go into the inside of that cone and lock in there, same way as the other one. Come on. I don't want to go in right. There we go. So once you got it in right, you've got an even gap around the outside all the way around, and it's even level, not cockeyed or anything. So that's in right, and it pulls. You can't pull it out. And then there's a hole. Okay. So let's go ahead and install this. Twist that down hand tight. Okay, as tight as my hand can get it. Sorry about that. And then I'm just going to go a little bit with the strap wrench. And that's enough. Okay, and then you just want to inspect it, make sure that all the way around you don't have any of that O-ring out. If you do, it's really bad. I've never seen it happen, but you should always look to make sure it didn't happen. So now I'm going to go back underneath, I'm going to put the drain plug in, and then we're going to fill it up. Okay, put the drain plug back in. The only tip I would say on that is to make sure that you can twist it all the way in with no resistance at all. If you get resistance putting your drain plug in, it's possible you have issues with your oil drain pan. And then also when you take your cap off, you want to make sure that, especially with the 6.0, that you don't have any milky colors or anything like that to the cap, any white colors. All those would include, or could entail like a bad head gasket or EGR cooler or oil cooler on this 6.0. So mine was just black, so we're good to go. Fix that I can see with my eye. It boasts all kinds of things, just like everything else you would imagine. Especially with diesels, people are spending ridiculous amounts of money to get fuel economy and stuff like that. We didn't buy this diesel for fuel economy. We bought it for being able to work, so we're just happy with what we get. And we can pull 20 miles a gallon with this. A 1-ton diesel. So, yeah, it says it'll increase horsepower and torque, increase turbocharger performance, increase component life. I mean, of course, they're going to put all kinds of stuff on it saying that it does all this just to sell it, especially at $30 a bottle. But we're going to give you an honest opinion, whether we notice the difference, we didn't notice the difference, or we hate it. Either way, there's going to be a video on what we think. So now, my can't think what I say. My truck is 15 quarts. So the shop, or the place I got buy my parts at, just sold me 3 1-gallons. And with 4 quarts per gallon, I'm going to use all but a little bit in the last quart, or in the last gallon. So I'm going to just put this in here for now until I get all the way down to the last quart or last gallon, and I'll put probably 50% of it in, and then I'll start checking it from there. But there's no point in checking it right now. Okay, so my pressure gauge went up, and oil pressure, that is, went up. So now we're going to check the oil level, see where it's at. First I'm going to check around the oil filter, make sure there's no leaks. So it doesn't look like there's any leaks anywhere on this side. And it looks dry on this side. I'm going to crawl underneath, see if the oil filter, or the oil drain plug, has any leaks around that. And let's see here. I'll probably get it better from the side. So. Nope, that looks good. So here. The funny thing is I told you guys to make sure your oil catch pan has enough room for all the oil, and then I didn't even practice what I preached. So I got a pretty good mess down there. So I'll rewind it, and I'll let you guys hear that where I said to make sure you check your capacity, make sure you have enough room. So anyway, let me check the oil here and see where it's at. The only hard part about new oil is it's so clear that it's usually harder to see than obviously old oil that's black. So let me clean that off, nice and clear. Put my 20-mile long dipstick back in just for a second, pull it back out. And now, I know this camera's not going to focus on it, but it's not showing at all. So that's why it's important to start it before you go with your final. So now you won't have to start it again, but now I've got to put a lot more oil in it. So that should be good right there. I'm guessing so. Yeah, and now it's right at the max. So we're perfect. I'm gonna call that a day. Call that good with the oil. Oh, let me see here. Looks like can't really get the light to cooperate, but yeah, right at 1 quart, or a little bit below 1 quart. So that's gonna be done for this. Okay, so my crappy camera has reduced me to doing a selfie video. That's sad. Never thought I'd see the day. But anyways, we're gonna not have that issue anymore because we just purchased a video camera. So we won't have to use the really old technology, and we'll make sure we get spare batteries, because that's the #1 problem that we have with all of our videos posting so far has been not having the correct battery, or not having the correct charge, not having the correct memory card. So here we are. We're finished up with the oil change here on the Powerstroke. Okay, this is just to add on to the oil change video. I bought a Rev-X oil filter thinking that I was doing the right things, buying a more expensive oil filter, and come to find out that it comes with a new cap, and the new cap is too long. And basically, like I was explaining earlier in the video, once you release the pressure on the seal, the oil will drain back into the system. And with this new cap, it doesn't push down on that seal. So the whole time it's been running with that valve open, so it's actually not filtering any of the oil. So I just went to Ford today and bought the actual cap right from Ford. Here's a part number in the bag and everything it's in. I'll put the part number in the description, just make sure if you don't have it. But it's very bad, very dangerous, and I have no idea why Rev-X even sells it if it doesn't fit, because you can end up ruining your motor. So let me get the correct oil strap wrench, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so if you can understand the concept that your injectors run on oil pressure, then you would understand that with dirty oil you can cause severe damage to your injectors. Like I said, I have no idea why Rev-X would even sell the filter with the wrong cap, but they do. So, and then when I went to the Ford dealership today and bought the right cap, the guy said that usually people that run the wrong cap end up doing injectors. So let's hope I don't have to do that. But one of the quick and easiest tests to see if you have the right filter or the right cap is pushing down, and that should be a sponge or a spring motion. And you see there's absolutely none in that. So open up. It's a new one here. And the new one comes with another gasket, so go ahead and I just did this oil change. There's a video just posted on my channel where you can see me doing the oil change. So the oil filter doesn't have a lot of life on it. But what I'm going to do is, since my whole last oil change was running on the wrong filter, or I'm sorry, the wrong cap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this for probably a week or so with this this filter that I've had in it now for probably a week already, and then I will change it out, keep all the oil, but I'm going to change the filter because I imagine once it's in there and it's a correct fit, it's actually going to filter a lot more than it's been filtering. So let me... Okay, that took some doing, but... So here you can see the difference. Here's the incorrect oil filter cap. You can see how tall it is. Let's set that there. And here's the correct one. So it's significantly shorter. You can see, yeah, there you go. You can see my left side is the new one, the correct one, and the right side's the bad one. So let's go ahead and assemble this, put this together, and then you'll be able to see that spring action I was talking about. Okay, so that's what you're looking for, is that spring action. That tells you that you have the correct cap on it. And then what I'll do is I'll just keep buying Motorcraft so I won't have to worry about it. And Motorcraft has you reuse the cap, so I definitely won't have to worry about it. Like I said earlier in the video, make sure you oil that O-ring so it doesn't get pinched or kinked. Put it on hand tight, and then I always go a little bit with a strap wrench, but I put that inside the truck, so I'm just going to go with this channel locks here, just a little bit. Okay, there we go, all done. And like I said, I'm going to run it for probably a couple days and then change the oil filter, because I'm imagining it's going to pick up stuff because it's been running so long without being filtered at all. But that's how to change oil on a 6.0 Powerstroke. And I'm going to be posting a couple videos here soon. I got all the parts now. I'm going to do a transmission filter and fluid change. I'm also going to be checking my EGR. I found a test to do. It's a very quick, simple test to figure out why I've got, it looks like overflow. The liquid's still clean. Keep getting people commenting on my videos saying that I either have possibly have a head issue or an EGR issue, and I found a way to test it. The liquid's still perfectly clear. There's no milk color on the inside. It's a couple things that Ford told me to look for. So stay tuned, and we'll get to the bottom of why it looks like it's overflowing. Thanks for watching. This truck still needs the transmission fluid change. So stay tuned, stick with our channel, and make sure you comment and let us know what you like, what you're watching, and what you want to see more of. So thanks from all of us here at Backyard DIY. Have a good one.